Good evening, everybody. Wow, that's awesome. It's 6 p.m., January 16th, 2017. It's time to call the San Felipe del Rio CISD Board of Trustees public hearing and regular call meeting to order. Ms. Haynes, would you please call roll?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chavita?
Here.
Mr. Mesa?
Here.
Mr. Overfelt?
Present.
Mrs. Martinez-Lozano?
Here.
Mrs. Gonzalez?
Here.
And Mr. Smith?
Present.
Myself.
Ms. Haynes, we have a quorum, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Let the record show that a quorum of board members are present, that this meeting has been duly called. I notice that this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. At this time, let us please stand for opening ceremonies, beginning with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we open this meeting. First thing on the agenda is recognitions, school board recognitions. It's nice to see so many students here today. I believe Miss Sandra Hernandez is going to be calling each of the students up.
Good evening, Mrs. Martinez-Lozano, Dr. Rios, and members of the school board and audience. January is School Board Recognition Month, and San Felipe del Rio CISD joins other districts across the state to thank our local school board members for their dedication and willingness to serve as advocates for our children and public schools. Distinguished board, as our district's Board of Trustees, you are our all-star team. In your honor, we have compiled a video salute, which will be posted on the TASB's website. On behalf of our school district, thank you for being the voice of our community, serving first and foremost in the best interest of Del Rio school children.
To the All-Star team for their authority and relentless pursuit of excellence. So, congratulations on all your past achievements and keep up the great work.
They represent their communities and face complex
and many challenges.
Yet few people fully understand the scope and far-reaching implications of their responsibilities. My job is to establish a vision for the education program in our district.
They design a structure to achieve that vision.
Our adopted the Del Rio CISD trustees are determined to push our school district forward with concepts.
They work through difficult financial times with balanced budget with substantial benefits for all the teachers and district employees.
$120 million, 10,500 students, 1,400 employees,
and 30 campuses.
Even though we are missing our special effort in January to show appreciation to our board members,
We know that their many contributions reflect a year of our commitment.
they generously give of themselves to ensure that decisions directly affecting our schools are made by representatives of our community.
Students in this audience, but we wanted to give you a little reminder and a thank you of how special you are. So at this time, I'm going to ask our campuses to come up one at a time, beginning with Irene Cardwell Elementary.
Good evening, Madam President Lozano, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. Tonight, we come to celebrate an all-star school board in appreciation for your timeless hours of dedication and a great support to our children and families of Irene Cardwell Head Start Pre-K program. You have helped us set the foundation for learning. As you know, we have the honor of teaching the youngest and most fragile children in our community. Because of your ongoing support, our children develop the necessary academic skills to transition to elementary school and ultimately become lifelong learners. On behalf of our Cardwell family, we honor you with a small token of our appreciation. We give to you this evening a mini cooler with snacks, including popcorn, cookies, and Gatorade for you to enjoy at your next sporting event. Also in your bag is a t-shirt, just like the ones we are wearing tonight, as an invitation to become an honorary Cub as you become a member of our Cardwell family. As you know, the Chicago Cubs won the World Series this year. They never gave up hope. They kept the dream alive. They believed in themselves and their team. Tonight, we celebrate you in our World Series for all you do for our community and our school district. You have scored a home run. Go, Cubs, go!
If we could ask the Cardwell staff to pause for a picture. Nope. Right at the line. And if you look up to the second floor, there you go.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have Buena Vista Elementary.
Thank you, School Board. We really appreciate all that you do. We have some All-Star snacks and coolers for the All-Stars. Thank you, All-Star team, for giving us the great opportunity of an education worth living for. Thank you for your help.
If we could have our Buena Vista delegation, please stand right at the center for pictures. Thank you, Buena Vista. Next, we have Dr. Fermin Calderon Elementary.
Good afternoon, members of the board. I, Diego Torres, president of our student council at Dr. Fermin Calderon, along with our principal, staff, and entire student body, would like to thank you for all of your hard work and dedication. Because of each and every one of you, our school is truly a place of excellence where all of us have a chance to make a difference. All of your efforts are truly appreciated. Thank you for all you do.
Next, we have Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary.
Good evening. My name is Cian, and I am from Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary. I would like to read a quote to you this evening. I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together, we can do great things. Mother Teresa.
Good evening. My name is Alexis. At Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary, our vision is to learn, love, and lead together. We know that it takes a team to help every one of us be successful. We would like to thank you, the board members, for working hard together to help our schools grow and be the best they can be. Your example helps show students, staff, parents, and the community how important teamwork is. On behalf of Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary, we present this gift to you for all of your great teamwork for our district.
One team, one dream at Dr. Lonnie Green.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
If I can have Dr. Lonnie Green's delegation, please stand by the line for pictures. The next campus that will be coming and presenting will be Garfield Elementary.
School Board, thank you for being the touchstone of our year.
You make our school better by creating rules that enforce teamwork, safety, and cooperation.
You provide us with phenomenal teachers and schools.
You have made our experience at school 10 points better. You guys bump up our moods.
We are teeing up for success because you are the Pop of the Year. Thank you. You guys rock. On behalf of Garfield Elementary, we'd like to present you with these baskets of goodies as a token of our appreciation. We are greatness, we are family, we are Garfield. Thank you.
Next, we invite North Heights Elementary.
Good evening, San Felipe del Rio Consolidated Independent School District. Board members, on behalf of North Heights Elementary Student Council, we would like to thank you for your hard work and dedication in making sure we receive the best education possible. We thank you for looking out for the best interest in making our school district the best in Texas. We would like to present each of you with a gift basket to enjoy while working late hours to ensure that the children of Del Rio have the best education, are in the best environment to become great leaders.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Lamar Elementary.
Good evening. My name is Victoria Natalina Giraldo. I am the Student Council Secretary of Lamar Elementary. I would like to thank the school board members, Ms. Cecilia Martinez Lozano, Mr. Joshua Overfelt, Ms. Amy Haynes, Mr. Raymond Mesa, Mr. Roberto Chavira, Ms. Diana Gonzalez, and Mr. Kenneth Smith, and Superintendent Dr. Carlos Rios, for the time they put and give into our community and our schools. I know there is time that you have taken away from your family to make our community better and our school better, and us to have an astounding education. And we thank you for that.
Good evening, All-Star Team. My name is Ellie Zavala. I am the Student Council President at Lamar Elementary. We have picked a poem to share with you today. The gift of time is precious. Valuable is the work you do. Outstanding in how you always come through. Loyal, sincere, and full of good cheer. Untiring in your efforts throughout the year. Notable in the contributions you make. Trustworthy in every project you take. Eager to reach your every goal. Effective in the way you fulfill your role. ready with a smile like a shining star. Special and wonderful, that's what you are. The key to our success rests in people like you, who embody the spirit of greatness by saying, "Yes, I can." And you can too. Your gift baskets have already been placed at your seats. We hope you enjoy them. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Lamar Elementary. Now we invite Ruben Chavita Elementary.
Hello, school board. My name is Kenneth Alexander, and I'm the president of the RCE. We would like to express our gratitude and appreciation for all that you do to make our schools safe and equipped with all the best tools so we can continue our pathways to success. Once again, thank you, and may you continue leading us as you have done so greatly this year.
Thank you for being an all-star team.
At this time, I'd like to introduce San Felipe Memorial Middle School.
Good evening, Madam President. Good evening, Madam President, Mrs. Martinez Lozano, school board members, and Dr. Rios. I am Michaela Manrique, President of San Felipe Memorial Middle School Student Council. San Felipe Memorial Middle School joins all school districts throughout the state of Texas and our local elementary and secondary schools in saluting you, our local education leaders, during School Board Recognition Month. As one knows already, an effective school board plays an important role in keeping our local schools on track and setting policies that affect our students. You, the school board, set the vision and goals for our school district and hold the district accountable for results. One school board member cannot do it alone, so you, the effective school board members, contribute your unique talents while collaborating and working as an all-star team with each other. Our principal, Dr. Zuniga Barrera, commented that it takes strong schools to build a strong community, and you, ladies and gentlemen, develop countless hours to making our schools are helping every child learn at a higher level. The key work of our school board is that all of you work as an all-star team, and most importantly, focus on what is best for all of our students. Even though we make a special effort to show our appreciation in January, your contribution is a year-round commitment. On behalf of our administrators, sponsors, faculty, and students of San Felipe Memorial Middle School, we salute you, our San Felipe Del Rio Consolidated Independent School District. School board members, for your commitment and civic responsibility for taking local control of our public schools and our community possible. As we quote Flip Flippin', if you have a child's heart, you have a child's mind. We definitely know that each one of you has a heart of every student that attend our local schools and our school district. Congratulations and thank you.
At this time, we invite Del Rio Middle School.
Good evening, Mrs. Lozano, Dr. Rios, and School Board Trustees. I am Michaela Rodriguez, President for Del Rio Middle School Student Council. On behalf of all of our officers and members, along with the entire Del Rio Middle School student body, please allow me to offer our sincerest gratitude for all that you do to ensure that we, the students of San Felipe Del Rio Consolidated Independent School District, are receiving a top-rate education. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once stated, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education." Through your promotion of intensive and critical thinking in our classrooms, you are promoting an education that will allow the students of our district to not only grow in knowledge, but in character, thus preparing us thoroughly for our future endeavors in whichever field we choose, and for this, we thank you. Often being a school board trustee is where your efforts seem to go unnoticed. Although we would like to assure you that your dedication and timeless efforts are greatly appreciated by the DRMS family. Once again, thank you very much for all that you do to ensure our education and success.
At this time, I'm going to ask for Blended Academy to come forward.
School Board President, Mrs. Lozano, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Rios. The students and staff at Blended Academy would like to take this time to thank you for your service to our school district. Throughout your work on the school board, you have modeled for us the 7 keys for success, and we are very grateful for your work. We have seen your commitment, persistence, passion, courage, innovation, understanding, and teamwork.
Tonight, on behalf of Blended Academy student and staff, please accept our small tokens of appreciation. Our gift includes a keychain because you are a constant model of the keys to our success, and a cup both made of stainless steel which exemplifies that you are strong, durable, and can withstand the most heated challenges with the resilience. It will also serve as a reminder that through your journey as a board member, you will always have the full armor of God. Thank you for your service.
At this time, I'd like to invite Del Rio Freshman School to please come forward.
Hello and happy Board Member Appreciation Day. My name is Brittany Gomez and I am the freshman class president. On behalf of the class of 2020, please accept this basket of sunshine as a token of our appreciation. Thank you for brightening our minds and hearts by giving of your time and energy. Because you are such all-stars, our school district is the best school district under the sun. Thank you.
At this time, we'll be asking Early College High School to please step forward.
Good evening, President Lozano, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. I am Aaron Escoto, and we are ambassadors of Del Rios Early College High School. On behalf of ECHS, we would like to thank you for always putting students first and making decisions that move our community into the 21st century and raises the rigor for all. We are proud to be part of this learning community that believes in and supports our continued success. Thanks for covering all bases and keeping your eyes on the ball.
At this time, we'll ask Del Rio High School to please step forward.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the school board and Dr. Rios. An effective school board has a clear vision for the district. It communicates their actions to the community. It works as a team and focuses on what is best for all students. Today, Mr. Chavarria, Mr. Mesa, Mrs. Lozano, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Haynes, Mrs. Gonzalez, Mr. Overfelt, and Dr. Rios. My fellow classmates and I are here to show that to the students of the SFDR CISD, you are not just an effective school board, you are an all-star school board. You see, with the diversity of programs and initiatives that you support under your all-star leadership, we have an opportunity to establish the foundation to fulfilling our dreams after graduation. My name is Ashley Robles, and I am the Student Council President. Under your all-star leadership, I have been in the Ready, Set, Teach program for 4 years, and in the fall, I will be attending the University of Texas at San Antonio and majoring in early childhood education. Thank you for helping us find our way.
Hi, my name is Esteban Arispe, and under your all-star leadership, I have been in the engineering program for 4 years. And this fall, I will be attending Texas A&M University, College Station, majoring in civil engineering. Thank you for helping us find our way.
Hi, my name is Priscilla Quintero, and under your all-star leadership, I have been an athletic trainer for 4 years. And in the fall, I will be attending St. Edward's University and majoring in physical therapy. Thank you for helping us find our way.
Hi, my name is Shane Creamer, and under your all-star leadership, I have been playing football for more than 4 years. And in this fall, I will be attending the University of Houston to play football and have a major in business. Thank you for helping us find our way.
Hi, I'm Melissa Jimenez. Under your all-star leadership, I have been in the nursing program, and in the fall, I will be attending Texas A&M Corpus Christi and majoring in nursing. Thank you for helping us find our way.
Hi, my name is Andrew Becerra. Under your all-star leadership, I've been in the Air Force Junior ROTC program for 4 years, and in the fall, I will be attending Angelo State University and be a part of the ROTC program, majoring in physics. Thank you for helping us find our way.
Hello, my name is Miles de la Garza. Under your all-star leadership, I have been in band for more than 4 years, and in the fall I will be attending Texas A&M University Kingsville and majoring in music. Thank you for helping us find our way.
Good evening. My name is Fernanda Roman. I am not embarrassed to admit that I am one of many seniors who didn't always know what I wanted to do after graduation. However, under your all-star leadership, I had an opportunity to explore a wide variety of areas of study. I took business classes, engineering, and health science classes. Today, I am proudly standing before you to declare that in the fall, I will be attending the University of Texas at Austin and majoring in biology. Thank you for helping us find our way.
School Board, on behalf of all of our campus administrators, students, and staff, congratulations, and thank you for all that you do.
Nice to meet you. Hey, congratulations. I enjoyed watching you play. It's good to see you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you. Only the first one's here. The second one couldn't be here, so we did it.
Well, thank you, everybody. That was really special. Moving on to recognition B, fine arts recognitions. Tonight we'll have just one of the two items. Ricardo Rios presenting, Del Rio High School Mighty Ram Band, the District All-Star Band qualifiers to the Region Band and the Area Band. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's like I didn't see Mr. Rios.
Good evening, school board. My name is Aldo Morales. I'm one of the assistant band directors at the high school. And over here are some of the assistants also that work at the high school. This is Mr. Raul Cisneros, and this is Ms. Ariana Cáceres. And we're here because the Del Rio High School Band had 14 students placed in the District 11 All-District Band, with some students qualifying the Region Band and Area Band. Our students are Alyssa Trevino, Miles de la Garza, Brianna Hernandez, Carla Casillas, Miguel Morales, Andres Hernandez. Those students qualified for the district band. Marisol Costilla advanced to Region Band, and Osvaldo Chacon, Victor Carrillo, Diego Coronel, Carla Rios, that's not right, Carla, this is Karen Rios, Alejandro Riz, Kristen Torres, and Frankie Trevino advanced to Area Band. It is a great accomplishment for them. There's hundreds of students that competed at the region level and across the state of Texas, and we're very proud of them. We've had more kids advance to area this year than we've ever had before, so it's a proud accomplishment that we have. And since it's School Board Appreciation Month, we really want to thank you guys for all that you guys do for the fine arts. I know Mr. Rios would love to be here to speak more on that behalf, but for the band department, it's great that what you guys do for us, and we really appreciate all the support that we get Thank you.
They're gonna have to hurdle this. They're gonna have to hurdle that. Congratulations. Okay. Next on the agenda, citizens to be heard. Can't see Betty. Betty, did anybody sign up for? Okay. All right, moving on to number 6, which is public hearings. The 2015-2016 Texas Academic Performance Report, TAPER, in accordance with GEC 39.306, Dr. Jorge Garza presenting.
Thank you, Mrs. Lozano, Dr. Rios, members of the board. This is a big binder. I'm sure that all of you received this in your packet. What we're going to do today is we're just going to talk about what this binder consists of. And it is a requirement for us to have a public hearing. In this binder, you will find 5 required parts of the annual report. One of them is the Texas Academic Performance Report by district and campus reports. The second one is district and campus performance objectives. The third one is the PEIMS financial standard reports for the 2015-2016 district and campus financial reports. The fourth one is the violent or criminal report. And the fifth one is the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board information. The TAPER, the Texas Academic Performance Report, is compiled by the TA for every district and campus using PEIMS and student assessment data. On the cover page, you will find the 2016 accountability rating for the district and the campus, and also the PBM, Special Education Monitoring Results status for the district only. No status is shown if the district is not selected for PBM interventions for special education. You will also find the distinction designation district, one possible distinction for the district, which is the post-secondary readiness, and for the campuses, you have up to 7 possible distinctions. The TAPER consists of 2 different sections. One is the performance, and the other one is the profile. The student performance on STAR includes performance on all 5 versions of STAR, which is STAR, STAR Spanish in grades 3rd through 5th, STAR L, STAR Modify, STAR, and STAR Alternate. It includes cumulative passing rate from 1st and 2nd administration for the 5th and the 8th grade reading and math STAR. It also includes the cumulative performance for the EOC assessments administered in July of 2015, December 2015, and spring of 2016. It only includes performances for students in the accountability subset, which means they have to be here on the last day of October and on the day of testing. It also has, this binder has 4 more sections, which is the district campus performance objectives in sections E through R, the PEIMS financial standard report, which is in also section E through R, and report on violent or criminal incidents, which is in section U, and report of student enrollment and academic performance in Texas public higher education, which is in section X. Additional information includes the school report cards, accountability ratings and distinction designations, the the history of the district and campus accountability ratings, the college-bound information, and the HB5 Community and Student Engagement Report. Additional resources and availability of this report: on the tapered, there is a glossary which is included in Section C of the district annual report. The district's annual report will be available on the district website, and paper copies of the district annual report will be available in the district central administration office at each campus and in the district and selected locations throughout the community. We do have our principals here. We do have our instructional officers if there are any questions in particular from the binder.
There don't be any questions at this time.
Questions from public?
Oh, public.
Well,
Oh, they said
first the
from us.
board and then the public, ma'am.
Being no comments from the board, are there any comments from the public? Public comments to be heard at this time? Being no public comments at this time,
Thank you very much, ma'am.
thank you. We adjourn the public hearing. No board members report at this time. Moving on to number 8, organization of the Board of Trustees, election of officers. At this time, pursuant to board policy BDAA, legal and local, I am wanting to propose that we elect new officers as of today. I recognize the chair's right to nominate. I have the right to nominate, so I would like to nominate Josh Overfelt as school board president.
I second the motion. Did you say nominate him?
Yes, sir, I did. Okay, we have that motion on the table. All right,
We got 1 second, right?
we have one
Yeah.
second. Yes, sir, we do. All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Overfelt.
Madam Chairman, before
Yes,
you
sir.
change, I just want to thank you for what you've done. You have always been real strong in making sure that everything goes right and that we stay within the realms of what we're supposed to do. So again, I thank you.
You're welcome. I have truly enjoyed serving as board president. I have had the privilege of serving with amazing peers, which has really been very helpful. So thank you for your support. And I'm sure that, I'm confident that Josh will do a great job as well.
Ms. Lozano, I know I'm the newest, one of the new kids on the block.
Yes, sir.
But thank you very much. You've done a great job, whatever this has been, 8 months or 10 months, whatever I've been.
Yes, sir.
So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Great
Mr.
work.
Smith. I appreciate that.
To begin with, I want to thank the board for the vote of confidence, and I hope to go in and provide the same leadership that Ms. Martinez-Lozano has done and other individuals on this board who have served as president in the past, Mr. Mesa, Mr. Chavita there. And I know it cannot be done alone, and I will always ask for guidance and advice on different things from everybody on the board, because it is a total team of 8 in there, so I appreciate that. Next on the list would be the election of vice president, and the chair Mr.
I
Cheetah.
nominate Mrs. Lozano for Vice President.
A nomination for Vice President for Ms. Lozano. Is there a second on that one?
Second.
Second by Ms. Haynes and Mr. Smith. Are there any other nominations? This time I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Next would be Secretary of the Board. Chair recognizing his right to make a nomination. I would nominate Ms. Amy Haynes to continue on as Board Secretary.
I second that motion.
Second by Ms. Martinez Lozano. Any other nominations? All in favor? Abstentions or against?
Did you vote? No, not would be.
Okay.
I'm abstaining.
I didn't look this way. Okay, I'm sorry. So 6 in favor and 1 abstention. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have reports, but I know there's been a request to move, or if the board would be willing to move 14B. I think it's what administration is asking to the top, because we have an individual who has traveled some distance to be here. So 14B would be consideration to approve a comprehensive annual financial report for the 2015-2016 fiscal year. Ms. Yannicani Valdez. So if the board is willing, can we move that up to the front, and then we'll take everything else in order? Awesome. Ms. Valdez.
Good evening, President Overfelt, Dr. Rios, board members. The 2015-2016 audit has been performed by Belt Harris Pahacek, LLP. Mr. Robert Belt from Belt Harris Pahacek will present the audit and answer questions from the Board of Trustees. If the board wishes, the financial highlights of the audit are available to be presented following the auditor's presentation. I'll turn it over now to Mr. Belt.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here today. As you know, the audit approval process tonight represents the end of a very long process that began with your approval of the budget. And tonight we're here to present the results of the audit. Before we get into the actual results of the audit, I want to recognize the hard work on administration of doing all the things that was necessary to get to this point. There was a lot of payrolls approved, a lot of bills paid, a lot of laws complied with in order to get to this. And so I want to recognize the hard work of all the people that allowed us to do what we're here to do. Again, it's an honor to be here and present the audit report to you. Our firm has been auditing school districts in Texas since the 1950s. We represent over 50 districts, about 140 governmental entities statewide, as well as the number of universities. So your hard work here today pays off. Very pleased to announce it's an unmodified opinion, which is the highest assurance that we can give you as your auditors, that all the disclosures required by generally accepted accounting principles have been included, and that financial statements are fairly presented. We've also presented a compliance report at the back of the audit, and there were no findings in relationship to the internal controls or compliance with laws and regulations in that regards. There is a tremendous amount of financial information in the report, as she mentioned a moment ago. Management's prepared to discuss some of those highlights with you if you would choose. I will just point out one item in the financial report over on page 25. It's the budget to actual presentation. To me, this is the highlight of the entire report as presented here. For the general fund, revenues came in at $87,391,000 for the year. Expenditures were $97 million. There was a net loss for the year of $9.6 million. You began the year with a fund balance of $51,970,000. You ended the year with a fund balance of $42,862,000. And while that was a significant reduction for the year, there was actually a planned reduction in your budget of some $13,697,000. So the district came in to the good in regards to that of $4,589,000 for the year. Again, to me, that represents kind of the highlight of the total financial results for the district for the year. And at this point, I'll just stop and see if there's any questions for me or management on highlights.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions from the board on the audit? Doesn't appear to be. Any for Ms. Valdez or? No?
Comment.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. Takes a lot. I know that you put in a lot of hours over the holiday where some of us were doing other things. So congratulations. Great work. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Okay.
If I may, I will read the recommendation.
Yes, ma'am.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approves the audit report for the 2015-2016 fiscal year as presented.
For the recommendation, is there a motion to accept? Mr. Chavita first, second by Ms. Martinez Lozano. Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That will take us back to now 9 reports. 9A, CTE, Architectural Design Discussion. Mr. Raymond Mesa. And Mr. Carrera will be assisting in that along with the architect from Michael Martinez from PBK.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Martinez, for traveling to Del Rio. I know you're probably on a holiday as well. Thank you for being here tonight. As you know, we're elected by the citizens of this great community, and to practice good, sound fiscal responsibility, especially with new construction facilities. It's a large area, and so we have questions, and I appreciate the fact that you're here tonight. The questions pretty much deal with the initial approval of the design of the building, and then the completion, because there were questions that came up during the presentation. And I know Mr. Carrera, I know I communicated with you today, so we could have those initial drawings, or I want to say design. And then if I could just elaborate on some of those issues. The question comes up as pretty much basic. Are we approving the design and then getting what we actually approved? Is my question in regard to. I want to make sure that in future projects we ask questions, we clarify issues, so that this will not come up again where you have to make an expense and be here, for a travel especially on a holiday. So once again, I appreciate the fact that you're here today to answer my questions. And if you could, this is the initial approval of the CTE building, which we now have. It's completed, the students are in. But there's still questions in regard to, especially the main entrance and the design of the building as initially approved. And if I could point out the differences, or Mr. Carrera, if you could, this is what we ended up with. And then if you show the picture again, you can see that the lettering is in a different location. The entrance looks quite different from the initial phase. I had questions prior to the completion of that, and that was in regard to the size having siding instead of brick as originally. I don't know if you have that picture, Mr. Carrera. Okay, initially it looks like a brick, either cinder block or some kind of brick material, and could you show is that the completion now?
Sir.
You can't very well see it from, yeah, it's hard to see, but it's a type of siding, kind of looks like siding. And so my questions have to deal with the original approval of the design and then what we ended up with. And pretty much my question is, are we getting what we initially approved?
Yeah, well, if we go back, how do we flip back? So let's go back to this original rendering here. So on this one here, everything is pretty much the same except for up here on the second level on the roof area right here. And what we did differently here, you can see we have this gap here between this, and when we presented this, we lowered this down so you could have a covered walkway into the building, so that way you didn't have water coming down on the people walking into the building if they got underneath this canopy here. So this canopy was lowered down to here so you could have a covered area, because otherwise you'd have driving rain. Well, you're still going to have driving rain, but this is completely covered now in the new. You can see here, you can walk under here without getting wet now. It's not above this parapet line that is right here. Back here beyond, you've got metal siding, steel siding back here versus the brick that we had shown there. And so if you remember when we first started talking about this project, we had a lot of issues with budget. We were very tight on budget. And so what we did is we made this siding so we wouldn't have to put a second beam and angles to carry all of this masonry, because once you put the masonry on top of the roof, you have to add extra cost to carry the masonry up the roof. So those are the two changes that I see on this elevation. These right here, this is still pretty much the same. We have that. This right here, these three little things are on their way. They haven't received them yet. They still need to get them installed. So you can see this is an early picture, but right now you have the logo here, and then they're bringing in the three design features that we have, these right here that are coming down.
I think the question that comes up immediately is the height. If you look at what we ended up with and then the original.
Again, in an effort to try to save some money, we brought some things down instead of taking them all the way up. If you walk into this space, I mean, this would have been really, really high, but if you walk into this space now today and in here, this is a very voluminous space, and it opens up into the central reception area. And so there's a lot of volume in there. And in this rendering here, you know, there was no, I don't know, for us design-wise, we didn't really need to take it up that high. We needed to save some money, so we pulled it down. We also initially had never talked about actually putting masonry all the way around the building. We talked about it with Mike and at the time, Mr. Salinas, and we talked about putting masonry all the way around the building, but we just didn't think we could afford it. So that's why we moved to the siding, and he just didn't want like our panel siding or just regular siding on the side of the building like you had on the original admin building. He wanted a better panel, and so that's the panel that you have in, what happened? So that's the panel that you have on the side of the building here now. So it's a good panel, it's a good system, it'll last you a long time. But, and then also if you remember, even after we sent the building out to bid, the bids came in high, we still had to value out $1 million. We still valued out over $1 million in VE, accepted VE items when the building went out to bid. So it was an expensive building. We valued out some stuff. We made every possible change that we could to try to save money on the project, and we still had to value out $1 million to get it in budget.
Okay, well, again, the concern comes up because, you know, even the lettering, we see it in a different location. I guess.
Right, the lettering, that was a request by the district. We originally wanted the lettering to be here. We were asked to put it on the building, so we put it on the building. I mean, in my mind, I kind of like it there, actually. So I think it looks good.
Yes, sir.
Just in relation to the lettering, Mr. Mesa, when the ceiling on the walkway was brought down, it would have brought the lettering down, and that's why we then went back and redesigned it. It wasn't the architect's decision, it was administration's decision to move the lettering to that side because the walkway went down, so the lettering would have come down, it wouldn't have been as visible. So the lettering was our decision, and the roof and bringing it down, when it was presented about the rain, and also it saved a little bit of money. But I do want to point out that the siding, that decision was made before the project was presented to the board for approval. That wasn't one of the VE items. That was one of the specifications that came with the original design. There were decisions made after the fact to do value engineering, but the siding was not one of them. That was part of the project before it was brought to the recommendation.
And that was prior to the project going out to bid, because we were looking for value engineer or ways to save money. We actually presented something like 30 different cost value options to Mr. Salinas, and he accepted some of them and he didn't accept others. And so the siding was one of them. And that was prior to it going out to bid, like Dr. Rios says.
Well, I guess, in addressing my issue, I would request administration and Mr. Carrera, your help as well, Mr. Martinez, for future projects, that if we are made aware of this, I don't want for it to be a surprise. Let's say and I keep referencing this building because we ended up with what we approved initially. I didn't see, any changes, drastic changes that, in the appearance or the value of the material. We ended up with what we approved, but when I look at the CTE building, that was quite a difference in the height of the tower at the entrance and the lettering. And so I guess on our part, we need to question more of that, and then, as well as perhaps the architect being here and letting us know that because of additional costs or whatever it might be, that design will be changed. And so those are questions that I will certainly bring up in future projects, whether it's you or someone else. But again, I appreciate your explanation here, but I think it comes a little bit too late for my part, I guess, for my understanding, because I would like to have known those changes so that I would be made aware and not at the very end of this construction.
Yes, sir.
So I ask administration, I ask Mr. Carrera, if you could just brief us on value engineering, value, in any material that is, again, changed from the initial design.
One of the other things that we did through the value engineering process is also add stuff to the project. So we kind of did a little bit of both. Like we added another 20 feet to the canopy area for welding, and I think another 10 feet for the automotive area. There were a couple of other things that we added into the project. When we went through the value engineering process, we took some things out so we could add some things back in as well.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, let me ask you a question, because I know that I brought this up when it was still under construction, that there was a big giant wall that was torn down because he initially had forgotten the base for the automotive. I mean, it was already up, and they tore it completely down because they did not make the entrances for the vehicles going into automotive. I'm sure that was an additional cost.
No, that's typical of construction. The only time I believe what happened is some walls went up and they didn't install the reinforcing correctly, and I'm just going from memory. And so they had to take them back down, put the reinforcing. We caught that because the walls started cracking. And so when we caught that, we made them tear it down and rebuild the wall. That's at no cost to you guys. That was originally, it was supposed to be built a certain way, and they didn't follow the construction documents, so they had to take it down and rebuild it at their own cost.
Okay, because I remember asking that question, and again, I did not get a response when that was going on. I noticed because I was passing by almost daily in that area, that neighborhood, because I happen to own a house in that area, and so I was doing some repairs, and I would notice from day to day the changes.
Yeah.
To me, it was a disappointment to all of a sudden see some setbacks, as big as that one.
Yeah, I believe that was the wall that's on, let me see, this wall actually.
Yes,
That was this
yes,
wall.
yes.
Yeah. What happened is they didn't put all the reinforcing in the way they were supposed to. And so we made them take it down and redo it.
Okay. I remember asking that question at a meeting, and then I never got a follow-up response. They said I'll look into it, but did not get a follow-up response.
Yeah, so you were not charged for that one.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I ask these questions, again, for future projects that we, would like to end up with what we approve. And so changes that come about, I certainly would like to question as we go through. But I think it would be just a lot better if, again, administration brings it to us, or Mr. Carrera, if you could, on the updates, you could do that for us as well. I will be asking more questions.
One of the things that a lot of other school districts do, and you guys only did really schematic design and then design development reviews, they also do CD reviews for approval. And so we didn't have one of those reviews. We had an SD review, which is schematic design, and then we had a design development review, and then we were often going with construction documents. If you're going to do this in the future, I would recommend that you have a CD review to look at the drawings and to ask these questions: what has changed? And then during that CD process, because during the CDs, you're kind of updating your budget still, and you're still looking for ways to save some money, and so things may change along the way. And so I would encourage you guys to have a construction documents, 100% construction documents review prior to you guys sending it out on the street. And so you may see some things that they've kind of taken out. You may want to reconsider, saying, no, is there something else we can do? Or, why exactly are we doing this?
Well, I appreciate that recommendation, and we certainly will look into it. I appreciate you bringing it up to us, and I think that's something that we just need to be, again, more detailed in regard to construction, especially when we have so many projects going on. I thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Lozano?
I just wanted to also echo some of the things that Mr. Mesa said. I think from the very get-go, Mr. Martinez, you were aware that I was pretty particular about the look of the building, and it did change. I mean, it changed drastically. Now, we've heard some explanations as to why that occurred, and thank you for that clarification. And maybe some of it was lost in the transition between Mr. Salinas and Mr. Carrera. But definitely, this school does not look like what we approved. And then one of the things, and you didn't speak to that, but the AC on the roof, it's so obvious. It takes away from the beauty of that building. And that wasn't in the schematic design at all.
We had mentioned that during design, that you were going to have, and with Mr. Salinas, that you were going to be able to see the tops of those mechanical units, because we were serving those classrooms that are sitting underneath there with those units. And I believe they are also crossing over and serving the Project Lead the Way classrooms as well.
No.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Martinez? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now that picture of the full moon,
It's phenomenal.
was that one of ours, or did we pull that off somebody's?
No, if I may, Mr. Benigno Garcia, the teacher at Del Rio Middle School, took that picture on his own and shared it with us, and it's very nice, so we thought I'd share it with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd like to get a copy of it, put it in that building maybe. Yeah, that's a really awesome photo. Thank you. 9B, bilingual annual report, Dr. Garza.
Thank you, Mr. Overfelt, Dr. Rios, members of the board. as per 89.1265, all school districts are required to conduct periodic assessments in the languages of instruction to determine program impact and student outcomes. Our mission for our bilingual program strives to provide students with a firm academic foundation in equal opportunities to attain academic excellence by providing access to highly qualified and exemplary teachers, access to instruction in the state, TEKS, in a manner that is linguistically accommodated and supported by the English language proficiency standards, which are ELPS, and also support for the English language learner in their development of academic and skills and proficiency in English. The bilingual ESL student enrollment for our school district last year was 1,835 students, which is about 17.5% of the student enrollment in the district. The bilingual enrollment was 797, or 7.58% of the total district enrollment, and the ESL enrollment was 942, or 8.96% of the total district enrollment. The number of parental denials to the district in the bilingual ESL program was 96 students, or 0.91% of this district enrollment, and the number of English language ELLs reported as born outside the U.S. as immigrants was 99 students, or 0.94%. The program design for elementary is a transitional bilingual early exit model. It targets students with limited English proficiency in Spanish in its grades pre-K through 5th grade. The teacher certification is bilingual education, and the goal is to transition our students 3 years or less. The languages are English and Spanish, and the curriculum is TEKS and ELPS. Instructional strategies and materials that the district uses are the district planning protocol, language development strategies, state adopted texts, and materials in Spanish and English, district purchased supplementary materials. And for our elementary and secondary ESL, the targeted population are the students with limited English proficiency, language other than Spanish, grades pre-K through 12, and grades 6 through 12. The teacher certification is ESL, and the goal is English proficiency. The languages are English, and the curriculum is TEKS and ELPS. Instructional strategies and materials are the district planning protocol, shelter instruction strategies, language development strategies, state adopted texts in English, and supplementary content materials designed for ESL, including district purchased supplemental materials. Instructional support in an effort to address instructional needs and increase student achievement in the 2015-2016 school year, the bilingual ESL program targeted the following interventions. The bilingual ESL strategies began providing direct instructional support for bilingual and exceptional waiver teachers through coaching and modeling at all campuses. We also increased collaboration and partnership with Region 15, and we continued efforts and expanded the recruitment of teachers for bilingual and ESL certification, offering an increased stipend allotment in the 2015-2016 school year. The bilingual ESL summer program exited and reclassification in by July 2016. A total of 158 students met exit criteria from the bilingual and ESL program in the district. 160 students were in their first year of monitoring and will move on to their second year monitoring in the 2016-2017 school year. And 125 students were in their second year monitoring in the 2015-2016 school year. We hired the Hanover Research Company because we consider them experts in actually coming back to us and analyzing the data that we provided for them so they can actually be an outside source to see how we're really doing in our district. They have high-value independent studies for us, and they customized some reports for us. And I do believe that Dr. Rios sent that through an update this past Friday. And here are some findings from Hanover Research. Based on the results of the regression analysis, they can conclude that the bilingual academy programs likely has a positive influence on English proficiency, TELPAS, and the academic progress, which is the STAR. In general, each grade level and subset in math and reading, there are more academic participants that progressed in STAR than there are of non-participants, which indicates that the academy participants outperform the non-participants on English proficiency gains. To be more specific, the fourth grade academy participants scored 46.68 points and 33.42 points higher than non-participants in the math test and the reading test, respectively. In fourth grade, on average, the bilingual academy students have significantly higher scores than non-participants. Similar students in 2013 and 14 and 2014 and 15 in all assessments of interest. Similar conclusions can be drawn based on significant results on grade 1 and 5 TELPAS composite scores. In grade 1 and grade 5, the academy participants on average had a TELPAS composite score by 0.34 and 0.18 points higher than non-participants, respectively. In general, a higher proportion of academy participants progress in TELPAS than non-participants, which indicates the academy participants exhibited more gains in English proficiency than non-participants. For example, 9% of grade 5 non-participants progressed 2 or more levels in TELPAS composite assessments, whereas 16% of grade 5 participants progressed more than 1 level. Across all grade levels, the number of students in unchanged regress on TELPAS fell by 2.67%, while the number of students progressing 1 level fell by 2.44%, and the number progressing 2 or more levels increased by 5.10%. Are there any questions at this time?
Any questions from the board, Mr. Mesa?
Dr. Rios, Dr. Garza, and Dr. Rios. Could you tell me why grade 2nd and 3rd, for example, instead of progressing, they kind of regressed?
Well, we have our Chief Instructional Officer here. I am not 100% certain on that, sir, but I do have Mrs. Garcia here to answer that question.
Mr. Mesa, we just got this report on Friday, so we did read it, we evaluated, we looked at all the data, so we really want to identify why that happens. Why is it just in those particular areas? So maybe there's additional resources that we need to provide, additional QTEL training, so we're really trying to identify those areas of needs.
If you could.
Yes.
I noticed that right away because there were slight changes, I don't want to say significant, but there were slight changes for grade 1, 4, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
But in between 2nd and 3rd, which is again, it's crucial because again, 2nd, they're getting ready for the first test in 3rd grade. 3rd grade, they take the tests in 4th grade and so on. But it is of importance because again, I did not see results in those 2 grades.
Right. So we're going to keep looking.
All right.
Thank you.
So, and perhaps for the next board meeting, an update on that.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Smith?
This is just clarity. A non-participant is that the same as this parental denial?
No, the non-participant, that's our non-bilingual academies. So those are the students that are in the non, it would include some of the denials depending what zone they're in for attendance at campus, but the non-participant, they're referring to the students that are in the non-academies.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? I have just one quick one. On the last slide you did with it was the last one presented, it talks about across all grade levels the number of students unchanged or regressed on TELPUS fell by 2.67, while the number of students progressing one level fell by 2.44. So I just need help understanding it. Those students that were moving one level, we actually had a decrease in those who were able to move a level?
Right, yes, sir. When it says that did not change or regress, meaning that they stayed at the same level. If there were beginners, they stayed there, or if there were intermediate, they stayed there. If there were if they moved up one level, if they were beginning, they moved to intermediate.
So we were down about 2.44 of those moving from one to the next.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay.
Go to that slide, Dr. Garza.
I just want to the last paragraph, really the last sentence.
Because that really is a positive statement. In other words, compared to previous years, the number of kids that didn't move forward fell by 2.6%. So that's good that we have less of a not change.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the number of students progressing one or more level, the number of students progressing one level fell by 2.44%, and the number progressing two or more levels increased by.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having more kids make higher change than before. But I think that because these guys are researchers, they write in the scientific language that sometimes they only understand, and we took and copied it. But what it's trying to tell us is that more students moved more than one level, whereas those that stayed stagnant or just at one level went down. So the opposite is positive, which is how we could have stated it.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
On to 9C, Facilities and Construction Report, Mr. Carrera.
Good evening, President Oldfield, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. I have a short construction update. The first slide is the San Felipe Memorial Middle School landscape. It's at 99% complete. The only thing that we're lacking is the benches. Oops. The next one is the Delro Freshman School patio canopy. We just started it, I think, last week or the week before. This is just a cover area for the self-contained students at the freshman campus. Early College High School is under construction. This is the rendering. On the top, you see the front of the building. It's been demoed. And then at the back side. The next slide is the timeline. The demolition, I put it down at 99% because we haven't demoed the roof, but we wanted to keep it on there until they came up putting the roof, because the construction wanted the guys to have cover once they get started. They have started on the plumbing rough ends, but that's as far as we've gotten. Are there any questions?
I know I have just a couple, and then I'll ask the board. On the, at the sixth grade.
Yes, sir.
There, I don't recall the amount of money off the top of my head. I know it was up there. Did the pavers eat a lot of that budget, or is it tied up a lot in pavers and the irrigation system?
I'd say the pavers.
The pavers? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then, while it's not in this update, because I know the CTE center is done and there, but we talked about it, and it's in the consent agenda. Has the city been notified about putting the 20-mile-an-hour school zones back? Because I know Mr. Smith brought that up last time.
Yes, sir. Last week I went to talk to Mr. Garcia from the city, and he said to check with him on Wednesday, and he'd have me an update on the signs and for that campus.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Mesa?
In regard to the early college, there's been some, were there some storage buildings that were relocated?
No, sir.
I passed by there and there was a building that was kind of loaded up into a trailer.
That is their work. That's the construction's workhouse. They'll set it down once they get started.
Okay.
It's theirs. It was at our previous CTE construction site.
Okay. It looked like a portable building that was being removed, but
yes, it's
I can
their
see
office.
a portable office.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So everything in regard to the generator that was outside, everything has been relocated now?
The only thing that we have not received are some transformers. There's 2 transformers that we left in there because we still have our cable in there, our internet, and so we didn't want to take that out until they put a temporary service for the construction.
Okay.
But we will get those as soon as that's installed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir. Brings us to 9D, the San Felipe Del Rio CISD Health Insurance Plan. I guess an update, Ms. Valdez and Ms. English.
Good evening again. At your seats, you have the PowerPoint presentation and the forecasted report and the survey. Again, our insurance committee contains over 50 members. And at the January 10th meeting, which is the last meeting that we had, there was about 25 members in attendance. We have 4 meetings between February and May, where in May we will hopefully have the final recommendations from the committee. Today, or at the insurance committee, and today we will review the 15-16 year-end numbers, which were included in the audit report, the 16-17 forecast, some information on the health of our district, and some information on the survey and upcoming wellness events. The district's internal service fund, which is our self-funded health insurance plan, ended with a net position of $882,876. If you are looking at the audit report, it is exhibit letter D as in David, but the net position is a decrease of $1,034,646. At the insurance committee meeting, our insurance consultant, which is Gallagher Group, provided us with a 16-17 end-of-year forecast with a net change of a net change over $1 million, which again is a negative $1 million. And that is based on an average rolling 12 months, which is what they use to do a forecast right now. Now, in the 16-17 year, or during the 16-17 budget process, we did make some changes to help with offset the forecasted loss that we were going to have in 16-17. We increased the district's contribution for an estimated increase in revenue to our health insurance fund of $262,000. There was an increase to the spouse, children, and family plans by 3.68%. And effective January 1st of 2017, the deductible for the basic plan increased from $500 to $750. Now the report that's provided here, oh, you can't see, maybe. Well, the report that's provided here, I provided you with a printout at your seats. And that is again the forecast from Gallagher Group. We felt it was important to share some information with the committee, trying to give them an idea of what the health of our district looks like. Again, this was to explain or help them understand the financials that we have been discussing in the last insurance committee meetings. One of the reports that we would like them to be familiar with is the breakdown between medical claims and prescription claims. We want them to see the month-by-month activity, but it's very important that they understand that as the year progresses, the total claims trend upward, and with our highest activity being in our summer months. So again, we want them to understand that even though they might see a year-to-date that the activity isn't as high, it's our year-end that always historically comes in very high. And of course, it's because of our calendar. Most of our staff or teaching staff is off in the summer, and most of their appointments are scheduled for the summer. But that has been our historical trend, where our summer months are the highest months. I will now pass it over to Ms. Laura English to continue with the presentation.
This next slide is one that we wanted to make sure that the committee was aware of. And we requested this information from TML so that we would know about how many of our participants actually do their annual physical. So what it translated to is that they said that about 592 participants actually did their annual exams. 406 are employees and the rest were dependents. So that translates to about 28% of all our participants do their annual physical. So that's one of the things we needed to make sure that we share with them to help us encourage all our participants in the plan to do that. And it was an eye opener, for them. Even though I do go to the campuses and ask them, encourage them to set their physicals every year. It's a free service. All that is covered at 100%, but we still don't take advantage of that. Another report that was shared is the top dollar employee utilization, so that they would be aware of what are the top costs or the expenses that we incur in our plan. And they came back as the cardiology, which is all the hypertension. We have about 450 members with that ailment, and diabetes, we have about 233, but that is the most expensive, where we incurred the most cost, and it's both pharmacy and physician visits. This report shows the gaps in care, which is, ailments that are not, or patients that are not in compliance with their prescriptions or their treatment. And it's one of the things that we always make sure that when we visit the campuses, we ask everybody to make sure they're following the doctor's orders, especially, taking care of, following up and taking their prescriptions as prescribed. And also the survey, you have a copy of that. I know that's not a very good copy what we have on the slide. And that's what we are going to be sending out to all staff by the 20th of this month through SurveyMonkey, so that we can have the results by, the deadline will be the 31st, so we can have the results ready for the committee for our next meeting on the 7th of February. And these are the upcoming events. On Wednesday, we start our weight loss challenge. We've sent the invitation to all staff members, and we've invited the city, the hospital, and the county to see if they would want to join into like friendly competition to encourage the staff to participate. And then we have, this is the invitation to the weight loss challenge, and it was sent out through the newsletter. And we also set up a claim lookup event with the TML representative, so that if anyone has a question in reference to how a claim was paid, our representative will be here to assist and answer those questions. We also sent out this invitation to our annual RED event. It is our Healthy Heart event, and is planned for the 9th, and you all are invited to attend. Are there any questions?
Any questions by the board? Ms. Martinez-Susano?
You've probably answered this question before. We do have disease management, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the folks that are coming out in the gaps of care as non-compliant,
correct,
or a compliance rate of 0, somebody's tracking that from TML.
Yes.
Right? And then the second thing is, how will you market, advertise participation in the survey? As you know, there was a lot of concern about health benefits before the school year started. So how are we promoting people? This is their chance to say, hey, I like this, I don't like this. Granted, it doesn't guarantee they're going to get their way, but at least you get a pulse of what's going on with the employees.
Right. So we have requested from our committee that assistance, since they are our representatives at the campus level, and each department or each campus at least has 2 representatives. So that is how one of their main jobs. You know, we asked them to please encourage everybody, because we know that they're busy. You know, they receive several emails, different kinds of emails. So we're asking them to make sure they encourage their staff to participate.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on what she said there about increasing the survey response. You said it was going to go live on the 20th of January, right?
Right.
Okay. So not counting weekends, because I know teachers don't want to look at their emails on the weekends. That's about 8 working days that's out there. I know it's a short response window, and in talking about increasing the response, is there something that we're able to do, such as something to increase the survey, like, okay, the campus with the greatest response rate gets, everybody loves leave early passes or gene passes or something like that, just to go in and get people to go in to respond to it, because as Ms. Lozano said, and I know I've said it on several occasions now, everyone needs to know and participate and know what's coming, so that in August, when we sign off on whatever it is, I don't have people trying to kick my door in because, well, I didn't know, et cetera. So that might be something to try and ramp up response, because it's only an 8-day window, workday window, and that's kind of short. So.
Right.
And just to put a plug in, under the CHF, one of the gaps in the care that's identified, that's heart failure. The compliance rate is low. But to put in a plug for Cynthia Hernandez, who's going to be providing a class on February the 9th. She's amazing.
She is.
I mean, she really drives the point home. So just putting in a plug for Ms.
Yes, thank you. This is the 3rd time she will be here with us, and we asked her to save a spot for us, because we love to have her back.
Anyone else? Mr. Chavino?
Yes, from the participations in the physicals, it seemed like there's one too many people that are not getting the physical. Is there any way that you were told about the representatives that they could, in some way, constant reminders like posters, that type of thing? Because it's important not only for the adults, but if they contact any disease or whatever the case might be, they're exposed to a lot of people, and they in turn are exposed to a lot of germs coming in from everywhere, because there's a bunch of students that they interact throughout the day. So it's very important that they, in some way, we encourage them in some way by posters, etc. And but it's got to be a constant thing. You know, sometimes we just talk about it and we don't do anything about it until it becomes a big problem, and then we try to curb it. But maybe we can do that.
Definitely. And one of the things we'll be reminding them is of our ReadyMD program, where they can see the doctor online. They're also able to do their wellness through the ReadyMD, and we've had some participants do that already. They see the physician online, but all the labs are, or the lab orders are sent to the hospital, and the hospital will send the results to the ReadyMD doctor. So that's another option for employees who want to have something readily available to them.
Yes. And another thing that I like to mention, that we talk about wellness, etc. And from experience being on one site where I was in, and I'm talking about myself, I was in pretty good shape at one time or another, and being an athlete and all that type of thing. And then for a long while, I lost track of that, and I gained something like 60 pounds, so probably more than that. And being there and then coming back to the weight that I have, which about maybe 5 or 10 pounds from my college weight, it's a lot of difference. So we could encourage people to take care of themselves, and they can participate more with the families and all that type of thing. So, they're not as tired as they normally are from all the day activities, and get home and be able to participate more. So it's amazing if we just continue to encourage them about the wellness program. They'll be a lot happier, I guarantee you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Last on reports, 9E, the A to F accountability system. Dr. Garza. Or not.
Okay. Good evening, Dr. Rios, Mr. President, and members of the board. Today we're going to have an overview of the 28 Accountability A through F rating system, as well as a presentation of the A through F preliminary ratings that were released. As part of the 84th legislature, HB 2804 passed, changing the Texas School Accountability System so that every campus and district receives 1 of 5 ratings from A through F and 1 overall grade. The law requires schools and districts to be issued grades based on 5 different areas of performance or domains, much like students receive for a subject, and those 5 grades must be combined into a single overall rating, like a GPA. The 5 domains are as follows: Domain 1, student achievement; Domain 2, student progress; Domain 3, closing the performance gaps; Domain 4, post-secondary readiness; and Domain 5, community and student engagement. HB 2804 also required that the state preliminary work in progress report noting potential changes by domain to be issued to the legislature by January 1st, 2017. Given limited data, the preliminary ratings were released for only domains 1 through 4. Currently, the A through F rating system is a work in progress. Therefore, it is important to note that the MET standard improvement required ratings issued in August of 2016 and updated in November of 2016 are the official academic accountability ratings for the 2015-16 school year. A similar process will be used for the 2016-17 school year. The ratings in this report are for informational purposes to meet a legislative requirement and represent a work-in-progress model that are likely to be changed before A through F ratings become effective in August of 2018. No inferences about official district or campus performance in the 2015-16 school year should be drawn from these ratings, and these ratings should not be considered predictors of future district or campus performance ratings. This is a proposed overall grade calculation model. The A through F rating for any campus would be based on the best of student achievement or growth, combined with how well a school performs relative to its level of poverty, how well kids are prepared for college, career, or the military, and how the local school system grades itself. The system reflects a commitment to recognizing high achievement, but also recognizing the impact of highly effective educators. It is important to note, again, that this model is a current work in progress. The next 4 slides will be an overview of domains 1 through 4. Domain 1 reflects student achievement based on the STAR test at 4 different performance levels. The construction of Domain 1 includes all students, all tests, all subjects, all grades with a minimum size of 40 tests. The indicators, all tests at 4 different performance levels. If you see figure 1 on the top, you'll also notice that there's some color coding to that chart. Currently, we are used to using unsatisfactory, satisfactory, post-secondary ready, and advanced. There is a proposal for those terminologies being utilized currently to change to does not meet, approaches, meets, and masters. The calculation, you take the 3 passing level percentage, average them, divide by 3, and you get your product assigned to an alpha rating. Domain 2 reflects student progress from one year to the next. The construction includes all students, 7 race and ethnicity groups, special ed, ELL, and U, current and monitored as well, with a minimum size of 10 tests for all student groups and 25 tests for any other student groups, combined across reading and ELA assessments. The indicators include student STAR and ELL progress from one year in math and reading to the next. The calculation is broken down by whether a student meets or exceeds progress. 1 point for each percentage of students meeting or exceeding progress, and then an additional point for each percentage exceeding progress. The Domain 2 score minus the total points earned divided by the maximum points possible will give you the product that will be aligned to the alpha rating. Domain 3 reflects how effective campuses are doing in terms of student achievement for their economically disadvantaged student population. It's constructed of all students, all subjects, all grade levels and courses, economically disadvantaged student population only with at least 40 tests. So the indicators include all tests at 4 different performance levels for economically disadvantaged students only in comparison to a predicted score that TA provided based on the percent of economically disadvantaged students at a campus. So there's 2 steps to this calculation. You have an actual Domain 1 score for your economically disadvantaged student group minus a predicted Domain 1 score for the economically disadvantaged group provided by TEA. If you look at the chart on the top, it illustrates the approach. Students or schools that perform well above the expected line appear to be closing achievement gaps and would be given an A rating. A benchmark cut point would be set based on the 2016-2017 school year, and those cut points would remain fixed over time to ensure all campuses have an opportunity to improve to an A over time. Domain 4 is an overall campus grade that relies on other indicators besides STAR results. The construction includes all 10 student groups, the all group, 7 race and ethnic groups, special ed and ELL, and the indicators for elementary schools is currently just chronic absenteeism. For middle schools, you have chronic absenteeism and the annual dropout rate. And for high schools, you have graduation rate, graduation plan rate, and college and career-ready graduates. The next slide is the release 2015-16 A through F preliminary ratings for our district. I'll give you a couple of minutes to look over that. The next slide is a preliminary A through F preliminary rating comparison of other districts. I'll give you a couple of minutes. This chart also will identify your EcoDIS, your percent of ELL, and their rating, as did the previous chart. The next slide shows a 2017-18 accountability timeline. As you've seen, we've already received the TEA provisional A through F ratings. In February of 2017, the commissioner will have his final decisions for the 2017 accountability manual published. March of 2017, we have data standards are published, and then a state plan will be submitted for the Every Student Succeeds Act. And then summer or July of 2017, skipped a couple of dates. An amendment to the 2017-18 TEDS is published. The summer of 2017, districts and campuses report to TEA their case, that's our Domain 5. Indicators for Domain 5. In August, TEA releases issues accountability ratings for the 2016-17 school year. And then in the spring of 2018, districts and campuses assign to themselves their A through F ratings for Domain 5. And then again, August 2018, TEA then issues A through F ratings for the 2017-18 school year, and that'll be our last preliminary before August or September of 2018.
Thank you. Are there
And then we have
questions?
our
Mr. Smith?
I'll let you go first.
Anyone over here? Mr. Mesa?
I just think of indicator 5, which is community and student engagement, and think about why we're not having PTOs, PTAs to encourage more community participation, because we always want to increase the numbers, and that's something that we're going to self-evaluate. And the only way to do that is, again, increase the numbers of parents that are coming in for engagement and information purposes, but the only way we can do that is by, you're not going to tell them, we had 1,000 people. You're going to have signatures and have proof of all that when the time comes. But to me, it's an important indicator that we can certainly keep bringing this up, that to increase community engagement, we should have had PTOs and PTAs actively participating throughout the year so that, again, they can come in, see their children perform, and then get much needed information as to what's going on instructionally, as well as other areas they can participate by volunteering, or a lot of times student activities that are going on, like book fairs and those type of things.
I know Domain 5 has been a work in progress because we've known of it, and there is a plan in place. We have posted on our website some of those Domain 5 ratings already, and I know that the CIOs are currently working on putting together a committee so that that can be an ongoing and documented process.
I realize that it is a work in progress, but eventually they will place a letter grade for each school, each district, and it's derived from domain 1 through 5. That's how they're going to arrive at they're going to average the scores from domain 1 to domain 5.
That's correct.
So that's an important thing to look at. Again, additionally, just want to, reiterate again the importance that our job entails here, sitting on this board, is most important thing, student outcome, student achievement. And that's the one thing that, that makes the biggest difference in regard to how we actively engage in our meetings here, because the most important thing is, yes, we want students to succeed, and it's in these indicators, again, 1 through 3, there's post-secondary, there's student community engagement, but when you look at domain 1, 2, and 3, it's all about student outcomes. So from what I'm looking at, I would love to have all A's in those areas, but we don't. I mean, we have to be realistic and see that we're lagging behind in the critical areas. But that's just, I know it's a work in progress, but this has been, I guess for the last 3 years, it's been coming. And they postponed it last year. It should have come into effect already this year. But because there was so much opposition, and I don't think this legislature is going to be any kinder. It's going to get a little bit tougher, in fact, for public schools to defend themselves against vouchers, against family savings accounts, and that's pretty much the same thing, vouchers and family savings account. The legislature is pushing for that from every direction, from the federal standpoint, from the state standpoint, and so that's one area that public education is in jeopardy at this point, and the best thing we can do is increase our scores so that we can respond to those comments that are being made about public schools and be able to defend public schools. And this is, again, me speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mesa. And I know kind of on some of those last things, we'll come back and touch on that on one of those other items under administration on that item I have, because it makes good points. Mr. Smith, did you want to?
I'm just going to pass. I'm going to pass.
Okay. I know I have strong opinions about the A through F system, but I'm saving those for later on in the agenda because we have an item that specifically addresses that. There I do, and I think it's also important reiterating what was on there and what we've been told. This is just a preliminary thing that the state has put out. It does not officially code any of our schools right now. The TEA released those back in, what was it, November, right? Those are the ones that are the Met standard and needs improvement or whatever it is there. That's what our schools are actually labeled as, because unfortunately social media and everything surrounding the A through F, as soon as these came out last week, it kind of turned into a wildfire on social media. And it's important to know these are not official to any of our schools right now. I just want to make the public aware of that. This is just a projected idea, say this is what it could look like. So, any other questions or comments with Mr. Chavita?
Yes, I noticed on domain 3, which is close to the performance gap, I just cannot understand, maybe our superintendent can help us out. One of the states, not, since the scores are not what they should be. It says students, comparison to the predicted scores TA provide based on the percentage of economically deprived kids. That means the more students that are economically deprived, the less you got to score, or in other words, according to the numbers, that's how you're predicted as far as scores are concerned as to what the level should be, or
No,
I
sir.
just cannot understand exactly what it is that they're doing.
It doesn't matter how many kids you have that are economically disadvantaged. It's just exclusively looking at that group that's economic disadvantaged. In the past.
Only those?
Yes, sir. Everything she described under that domain is specifically for economically disadvantaged. Previously, when they were just looking at the old accountability system, they would take economically disadvantaged and then two ethnicity groups. But now it's just economic disadvantage for that domain.
So it's not a percentage, it's just those students, and they're tested, how far did you go? And if they go above the expected scores, then that means that between a B and an A and that type of thing.
Yes, sir.
All right, gotcha.
Anyone else? Thank you, ma'am. That brings us into 10, the consent agenda. Although I've had a request for a recess, we've been at it for 2 hours now through the reports and some other items. Would the board be willing to take a 10-minute recess? Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Haynes. All in favor for 10 minutes? Unanimous. We stand in recess for 10 minutes. All right. It is 8:26 and the board will come back off of recess. We're going into 10, the consent agenda. Before we get into the consent agenda, administration is asking to table F1 and G1 until the next board meeting. So on the consent agenda, there's going to be an ask for a motion to table F1 and G1 until the next board meeting. These were the items that were tabled last month, and administration has indicated it's okay to keep them tabled. There will be a meeting with Laughlin later this week, you said?
First week in February.
First week in February, so they want to discuss some things. So
F1 and G1.
F1 and G1. Do I have a motion to table F1 and G1 until the next board meeting? Mr. Smith, seconded by Ms. Lozano. All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Are there any other items on the consent agenda that any board member would like to discuss or pull before a vote? No items? At this time, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda less F1 and G1, which were previously just tabled?
I so move.
Ms. Gonzalez and Mr. Chavita. All in favor? Unanimous, carries. This time we'll have a reading of the donations. Ms. Haynes?
The monetary donations, Chick-fil-A, $119.33, Sterling High School bells. Peter Piper Pizza, $107.22, Dr. Fedmin Calderon Elementary. Your Cause Group, $10, Dr. Fedmin Calderon Elementary. The Spa and Pro Shop, $250, Dr. Fedmin Calderon Elementary Student Council. McDonald's, $750, Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary. Dean Sterling, $50, Lonnie Green Elementary, CTE Robotics. Scholastic Builders, $50, Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary, CTE Robotics. McDonald's, $600, Lamar Elementary. The Bank and Trust, $665, Lamar Elementary, UIL. The Spot and Pro Shop, $300, North Heights Elementary. The Spot and Pro Shop again, $200 to North Heights Elementary, UIL. Peter Piper Pizza, $102.74 to Ruben Chavita Elementary. The Spot and Pro Shop, $150, Ruben Chavita Elementary. Life Touch National School Studios, $827.10 to Garfield Elementary. Non-monetary donations, Border Federal Credit Union, 12 coats valued at $420, Garfield Elementary. City of Del Rio Police Department, 10 coats valued at $350, Garfield Elementary. The Del Rio Host Lions Club, Walmart gift cards valued at $600, Garfield Elementary. First United Methodist Church, groceries for 20 students valued at $800, Garfield Elementary. Project Sheriff's Office for Santa, 43 toys valued at a total of $430, Garfield Elementary. Thank you for all your donations.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. And as she mentioned, thank you to everyone out there that contributes to the district and our students. On to 11 Administration A, consideration to approve the first reading local policy updates, DA local, GBB local, and FFA local. Ms. Sandra Hernandez.
Good evening, Mr. Overfelt, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. As a result of this month's review by the district's Board Policy Review Committee, 3 items are being recommended for consideration and approval. They are DA local, employment objectives, GBB local, public information program, school communications program, and FFA local, student welfare, wellness, and health services. During the Board Policy Committee meeting held on January the 4th, 2017, committee members conducted a second policy review of older existing policies. In reviewing these policies, the Board Policy Committee found that DA local and GBB local did not have a value which would reflect or impact the district's current practices. Therefore, the recommendation is for deletion of these 2 policies. More than 2 years after rules were initially proposed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture to address wellness policy requirements under the Healthy, Hungry, Free Kids Act of 2010, the rules have now been finalized. FFA local has been updated to meet the requirements in the new rule implementation that all districts who participate in the National School Lunch Program and or the School Breakfast Program must adopt a wellness policy that includes goals for nutrition, promotion, and education, physical activity, and other school-based activities to promote school student wellness, as well as nutrition guidelines for all foods available on school campuses during the school day by June the 30th, 2017. At this time, are there any questions?
Any questions from the board on either of these policy updates and deletions? No, ma'am. Recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the first reading of DA local, GBB local, and FFA local and recommend the deletion of GBB local and DA local of these policies and the recommendations for change for FFA local as presented by the San Felipe Del Rio CISD Board Policy Review Committee.
For the recommendation, is there a motion to accept? Motion by Mr. Chavita, seconded by Mr. Mesa. Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. 11B, consideration to approve a resolution calling on the Texas legislature to repeal the A through F campus and district rating system presented by myself. In your packet, there is a resolution that TASA has gone in and provided to a lot of school districts over the issue of the A to F rating system. As of this morning, 238 districts have so far adopted this resolution calling on the Texas legislature to go in and repeal this system, which has many, many flaws. Since it has come out, the Austin American Statesman, the Houston Chronicle, and many other papers within the state of Texas have gone in and run articles showing the many flaws within the system there. In fact, the Commissioner of Education, Mike Morath, just recently on January 6th of 2017, went in and finally released a statement highlighting that these are work in progress models that are likely to change before the model becomes effective in August of 18 there. However, many school districts, many superintendents have gone in, many school boards have gone in and made very public statements about this system there and the flaws that are inherent in it and the work that needs to be done to it. So I've asked having it put on the agenda, if the board would consider joining those 238 now plus school districts, calling on the legislature to repeal this system with something that is much more thought out. And I know Mr. Mesa had talked about how this had been in the works for 3 years and it got put off for another year, and it shows that the legislature really is not sure of it there. So it's in the packet. I don't know if we want it read into the record, or if you've already overlooked it or anything. I'll entertain any questions on the resolution. I know several districts in our area have already done so already. I know the Uvalde ISD is going to pass it next Monday, is scheduled to have it on their agenda. So, any questions? No? I don't have a written out recommendation, but
I'm all for it, but did you say we have it in our packet?
yes, sir. It's listed under.
It's right before the administration tab.
There's a blue.
Yeah.
Before page 90.
A blue tab or a blue sheet right before curriculum and instruction. So I don't know if it necessarily needs a recommendation, but if there's a motion to accept the resolution calling on the Texas legislature to repeal the A to F campus and district rating system.
Do you need a motion?
I'd like a motion.
Yeah, I'll definitely motion that we approve the resolution as it's written, with the exception of the changes in board officers concerning the A through F accountability rating system for the Texas public schools, advocating against this A through F rating system.
We have a first. Is there a second? Mr. Smith? Any other discussion? All in favor of approving? Unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 11C, consideration to change the date of the February regularly scheduled Board of Trustees meeting. Myself presenting. I know at the last meeting there was the talk of the I think it's the TASB Legislative Conference that occurs in Austin. And I know there were a couple who had expressed interest in maybe doing that. Right now, the regular schedule would be the 20th. The conference is the next day in Austin on the 21st. I don't know if we had those who wanted to go, and if the board was willing to push the meeting either to Monday the 13th or into the 27th, that next week, unless the 27th is too late for administration.
It's better for us.
Better for us. So is there anyone who?
I'd recommend the 13th myself.
I'm sorry?
I'd recommend the 13th.
13th, okay. Is anyone wanting to go to the sessions enough that we would need to move the meeting around? I know Ms. Lozano and Mr. Mesa wants to go.
When are they?
The session is on the 21st, February 21st in Austin. And I think it starts like 8 a.m.
Yeah, I'd like to go.
I know Mr. Chavita, and that would go in. I know I can't because of some stuff that's coming up later that month there, but anyone else on this side interested in maybe going to that?
Maybe so.
Ms. Haynes?
This work, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Overfield?
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you know the date of the school law conference? I think it's the same as
the school law or the?
It's the end of February?
The 28th? 27, 28th, that Monday, Tuesday?
Okay.
So it would have to be the 13th then.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested in attending the legislative session.
Okay. I think we have enough that would necessitate the moving of the board meeting, and there might even be those that want to go to that next one, that next week. So I know Mr. Smith has said the 13th works fine, would be good for him. Is there any objection to moving the regular scheduled board meeting to February 13th at 6 p.m.? Make a motion to move the regular scheduled board meeting to February 13th at 6 p.m. Mr. Chavita, second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you. 12, curriculum and instruction, consideration to approve applying for a low attendance waiver for Darrell High School and freshman school. And the dates would be December 15th and 16th of 2016. Dr. Garza.
Thank you, Mr. Overfeld, Dr. Rios, members of the board. On December 15th and 16th, we had a low attendance rate. The state does allow us to turn in a waiver, and the waiver can be for weather-related, health, or safety issues. We do believe that on those 2 days we did have a safety issue, and the only requirements that they need was that those 2 days, or any day, lower than 10% from the previous year. And they're talking about the entire attendance from the previous year. The previous year attendance was 94.9. On the 15th, at the high school, we had 79.77%. And on the 16th, we had 82.22. So we do qualify because it is less than 10%. The other criteria, we would need to send a report saying exactly why we're asking for the waiver.
Discuss why. Dr. Rios.
Mr. Overfeld, members of the board, if we remember on those 2 days, there was a concern expressed through social media that there was some harm that was going to come upon the high school, and that was unfortunate. We had addressed the issue that Monday. Everything had been taken care of except the communication with the parents. But as a result, we did have approximately 25% absenteeism. Now, those days being holidays or days before a holiday, we were used to experiencing about 10% absenteeism. 25% is clearly 10% more than what we had in the past. A lot of people contributed to the drama, and that was unfortunate. But we also recognize that we as a district could have been quicker to communicate to parents what had happened and how we had handled it. It's an unfortunate situation, but the state does allow us to submit a waiver, and that would absolutely help not only our attendance percentage in terms of ADA, which would mean a lot of money. So we're asking for your approval to submit a waiver for those days.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Does the state limit the number of waivers you do in a school year or a semester, or no?
I don't believe that they limit them, so as long as you have a good reason to apply for them, sir.
Very good.
Any other comments or questions for administration? Ms. Lozano?
Yes, as they are kind of related. We'll be requesting for the next board meeting to share with this board what the plans are in a public setting on being better prepared. I know that you've met with your chief of police and maybe your emergency management coordinator to put processes in place to ensure that we are truly ready should there truly be a threat to our students and employees.
Sure, absolutely. We'll have a joint presentation by Chief Maldonado and whoever he selects to outline what discussions that he's already had and processes that have already been put in place.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Recommendation, sir?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approves the San Felipe del Rio CISD to apply for a low attendance waiver for Del Rio High School and freshmen combined for December 15th and 16th.
For the recommendation, is there a motion to accept? Ms. Lozano, Mr. Chavita, second. All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you, sir. 12B, consideration to approve the memorandum of understanding between San Felipe Del Rio Consolidated Independent School District and Del Rio High School swim team and the Lozano Fitness Center at Laughlin Air Force Base, Dr. Garza and Athletic Director Rick Smith.
President Overfelt, board members, Dr. Rios. This memorandum of understanding is to establish the terms of agreement, and the signatures will follow, where Del Rio High School swim team will utilize the Lozano Fitness Center pool at Laughlin Air Force Base as a practice venue. The purpose of this MOU is to specify the mutually agreeable rules of engagement to be followed by Del Rio High School swim team when conducting practices at Lozano Fitness Center indoor pool, as authorized by the installation commander. This MOU fosters a cooperative and mutually beneficial relationship between the two parties in accordance with all federal and local laws, rules, and regulations.
Are there any questions regarding the MOU? Recommendation, sir?
It is the recommendation of the administration to approve the signed swim memorandum of understanding between Del Rio High School swim team and the Lozano Fitness Center at Laughlin Air Force Base, and to be signed by our superintendent of schools, Dr. Carlos Rios.
For the recommendation, we have a motion to accept by Mr. Chavita, a second by Ms. Lozano. All in favor? Unanimous carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have nothing under facilities and operation. 14, business and finance. A, consideration to approve submittal of application for impact aid. Ms. Laura English.
Good evening, Dr. Rios, Mr. Overfelt, members of the board. Since 1950, Congress has provided financial assistance to school districts through the Federal Impact Aid Program. Impact Aid was designed to assist school districts that have lost property tax revenue due to the presence of tax-exempt federal property. We sent survey forms to all parents on November 7th to gather information to complete the annual grant application. The deadline to submit the application is Tuesday, January 31st, 2017. And I am requesting approval. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Ms. English? Recommendation, ma'am?
Okay, and there is a correction on the name of the application. Is Impact Aid Section 7003 instead of 8003. There was a typo there. The recommendation, it is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the submittal of the application for grant under the Impact Aid Section 7003 for year 2018 and for the superintendent to sign.
We've heard the recommendation, and I make a motion to accept with the corrected information that was presented. Is there a second? Mr. Mesa? Any other discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you. 14B, we have already handled previously in the meeting. 14C, consideration to approve the 2017-2018 budget calendar. Ms. Valdez.
Good evening. In compliance with the Financial Accountability System Resource Guide, the budgetary process begins with sound planning. We have included the budget calendar that lists the critical dates for the preparation, submission, and review of the campus budgets for the school district. The budget parameters and the development calendar will guide the fiscal year 2017-2018 district budget process. We have included in there the proposed workshop dates, which start in May, and we have one in June, tentative for July, and of course our finals in August. Now, this is a legislative year, and the last legislative session, we didn't receive we received our funding information until June. So I believe at that time, we did have a July meeting. So again, it's going to all depend on the legislative session this year. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board on the 17-18 budget calendar? No?
Just the budget calendar.
I'm sorry?
Was that in the?
Yes, the budget calendar and the parameters were included.
It's right before the pink tab.
Recommendation?
Okay. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the budget parameters and development calendar to guide the fiscal year 2017-2018 budget process.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to accept? Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Chavita. All in favor? Unanimous, motion passes.
Thank you.
That takes us nothing in 15, human resources, nothing in technology. Takes us to 17, closed session. If during the course of any duly posted meeting, the Board of Trustees determines that a closed or executive session is required regarding an item posted on the agenda, the session will be held on any and all subjects, and the purpose permitted by sections 55.071, 072, 073, 074, 076, .082, .084, and .087. A final vote is required on any matter in the closed or executive session. It shall be taken either upon reconvening in the public session covered by this notice or at a subsequent duly posted public meeting as the board shall determine. Tonight, under 551.074, discussion of personnel or to hear complaints against personnel. Discussion of personnel report, new hires and district vacancies, retirements and resignations and reassignments. Discussion of salary adjustments to include but not limited to service credit, master's degree stipends, and salary matrix adjustments. 3, superintendent's formative evaluation. B, pursuant to 551.071 on the advice of legal counsel, consideration of proposed medical subrogation settlement of claims. It is 8:52. We are now in closed session. All right. It is 10:24 p.m., Monday, January 16th of 2017. This board will now reconvene into open session. No action was taken. First on the agenda, A, consideration to approve the personnel report to include the following new hires, district vacancies, retirements, and resignations. Dr. McNamara.
Good evening, President Overfelt, members of the board, and Dr. Rios. It is a recommendation of the administration that the following new hires be approved as presented this evening. We have Miss Edna Flores Hartman, ELA teacher, Del Rio Freshman School. Mr. Ricardo Pettis, third grade teacher, Dr. Fermin Calderon Elementary. And Miss Crystal Seguda, English ESL teacher at San Felipe Memorial Middle School.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to accept? Mr. Mesa, second by Mr. Chavita. All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I lost my back half of my sheet. What's the next one? B, consideration to approve salary adjustments to include the following justifications: service credit, master's degree, stipends, salary matrix adjustments. Dr. McNamara.
Yes, sir. President Overfelt, members of the board, and Dr. Rios. It is the recommendation of the administration that the salary adjustments be approved as presented in closed executive session.
Heard the recommendation. I so move. Mr. Chavita, second. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. In regards to C, consideration of proposed medical subrogation settlement of claims, I move with regards to agenda item 17B to instruct the superintendent and the third-party administrator to take actions as discussed with legal counsel in closed session. Second by Ms. Martinez-Lozano. All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. 19, Superintendent's Report, Facility and Operations Citizens Committee Board Workshop, January 25th of 2017. Dr. Rios.
Just a reminder to our board that we agreed, we polled the board and we agreed that January 25th would work as a workshop. This Thursday, we will meet with the committee to go ahead and review the presentation that we're going to make to y'all and solicit input from them and participation in the presentation. But we are ready to go. After January 25th, we'll hopefully give the board a couple of weeks to digest what's presented, to ask questions, to tour additional sites, and then hopefully come back in 2 weeks for action if that's what the board desires. So as soon as we finish the presentation, we'll start polling the board for a second workshop date in the middle of, early to middle of February.
Awesome.
That's it.
I know before we move for adjournment, Mr. Mesa, you had something?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge Betty Falcon, president of TSTA, and say thank you for the nice gift. I think we recognize all the groups, and we found this at our desk, so thank you.
Thank you. Being no further business before this board, is there a motion to adjourn? Ms. Haynes, seconded by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor? Unanimous. Adjourned at 10:28 p.m., January 16th, 2017.
There were 7.